Okay, it looks like everybody's logged in. I want to first thank you all for showing up and partaking in our Live Maps version 7.4, What's New. I want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Chris Millay. I'm the support manager here at Savision. I'm based out of our Dallas office. So if you have any questions or any comments and you want to contact me afterwards, I'll have some contact information on the last screen. If you have any questions during the webinar, please fill those out in the Q&A section so I can follow those along, and I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. And without further ado, we shall begin. So first, go through a quick content of what we'll be covering. We'll do a quick recap of Live Maps Unity. I'll talk a little bit about Dashboards by Savision, as the two products, while separate, continue to kind of merge. I'll go over the actual specifics of what's new in Live Maps Unity 7.4. To give you kind of a brief hint there, we'll go through some ServiceNow integration. That's our first venture of integrating outside of the Microsoft stack. We'll go through our enhanced performance graphs. Some easier to find child objects. There's been a request for that, and it makes life a little bit easier on finding objects to place on a map. We've enhanced our membership rules, which will show a little bit more about that. Some nice features that we can create some really good membership rules to target exactly what you're after. And then the last thing is Unity dashboards and dashboards. And then, of course, we'll end with our Q&A session. So without further ado, we'll start with the Live Maps Unity. So Live Maps Unity basically enables business service management within Microsoft System Center, specifically, in this case, Operations Manager and a little bit into Service Manager. We provide a persona-based views and notification to give you an alert to figure out exactly what's wrong with a particular service or object to help organize that information and produce it publicly. We have with our authoring tool, authoring console, we have an easy way to model out and maintain your services. We also have automatic CMDB synchronization. This helps with synchronizing into your Service Manager and now ServiceNow. This helps you optimize your incident and change management, and of course, we're aligning business and IT. The business side of the house being, your CIO or your service managers, help desk, and then the IT infrastructure themselves. So here, we're trying to align all of those people, all the CIO, the service owners, the IT management, help desk, and engineer, trying to align them so that they're all speaking the same kind of language. So now information is not stuck at one level, but can actually spread across to help everybody talk and communicate the same way. We do that with our services, or one of the things we do with our services is we help structure this to give you a better and easier way to quickly isolate what the problem may be. We break out our service into an end user, an application, and infrastructure level. The end user basically is things like a monitor, something that allows you to quickly figure out whether a service is actually up or down from a testing perspective. The application, which would be, a Windows service, a database, a web service, things of that nature. And then, of course, the infrastructure being the Windows computer objects themselves or network gear information that you actually may store in SCOM. With that, when you drill down into your service, we're trying to provide a 360-degree service navigation from the different end user moving over into the application and finally into infrastructure. And then from there, you can actually drill down an object and look at the Health Explorer from the Operations Manager web console to truly get that alert and make life a little easier and help you navigate around a particular service with pretty ease of use. Besides the persona-based views and notifications, you can also have any kind of custom dashboard or map that you want to create. So if you want to have not the traditional or our service map, but you need something tailored directly towards the CIO, or maybe you want something that has your racks and your Oh, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. Your racks and your data centers, you can show that. Or if you want something like a Bing map to show locations, or in the case of the last one down the bottom is some kind of workflow management. You can also do things like adding in backgrounds, video backgrounds that you've already created, and placing the object on those so you can see the alerts that are going on with a particular object. Dashboards by Savision is our completely configurable HTML5 dashboard. It's fast. We're making a direct contact into the actual operations manager database and data warehouse databases. We're trying to bring some of that performance and health and alerts, and then now SLA information to this widget-based HTML5 dashboard. One of the new features, of course, is going to be our service dashboards through Live Maps in Unity. We're actually bringing that in here. So one of the things that will do for us, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later, is we're kind of removing that Silverlight dependency that we have currently with our Live Maps web console. It's mobile friendly. It'll collapse on itself to make it so that you can see it and view it inside a mobile phone, a tablet, or on your computer. It provides there's an inline authoring experience where you're just simply adding the widgets that you would like to see and then placing them on the page where you'd like to have it. And now you can actually turn around and pull information and see that information. You're just answering a few questions as for what information you would like to hear. And of course, there's also a free version, which is basically 6 standard dashboards that we have. And then from there, you have one customizable one. For those who actually own Live Maps Unity, you can also get a Unity license, which allows you to have unlimited number of customizable dashboards. And as I'll talk about later, it also allows you to bring in your service dashboard. What's new in 7.4? Well, our big thing is our ServiceNow integration. This is our first step outside of the Microsoft stack. We're actually synchronizing the CMDB for those customers that are using ServiceNow. We're providing enhanced performance graphs that will actually show on the actual dashboard itself. We made it easier to find child objects within a parent object. We've enhanced our membership rules, which is something that I personally have been asking for a while, but it's finally here where we can include an AND statement. And then the last thing is the Unity dashboards within the dashboards product. So ServiceNow integration, it automatically synchronizes your business services within the ServiceNow CMDB. We can take our business services created with Live Maps and then automatically synchronize them with the CMDB. So this way you can see at a glance the services that are impacted by the incidents that occur. This also allows you to do a little bit of impact analysis whenever you're doing your change requests. So I'll go and demo this, and when I go to this demo, I also wanted to point out that one of our developers that helped develop this to create the ServiceNow integration has written a blog article for the ServiceNow integration, and everyone is welcome to see this and go to the blog. If you need to, you can just go to www.savision.com and do a search for ServiceNow, and it'll be the top listing, so you can find it there. So here is our ServiceNow website. This is, of course, our demo site. One of the first things I want to do is show you is basically our business services. This is where I can actually come through and show the list of services that we've already have inside ServiceNow, but I'm going to go to the Active Directory one in this case, and already based on this synchronization, I can show you, and you can see how the downstream objects are already being synchronized. And if I need to, I can actually show this in their BSM view. If I want to, I can actually make sure to kind of group those together in certain aspects. For those that are using ServiceNow or contemplating ServiceNow, then I'm sure this will be helpful. Also, if I want to create a change incident, I come in here, and in this case, I can do a quick search for the object that I want to change. So in this case, I'll actually do a change on my SCOM server just to kind of indicate it. If I want to, I can actually show that on a CI map, and I can tell now that that's actually syncing up with our Operations Manager 2012 services created within LiveMaps. Nothing fancy yet. I can also show this is our service. There's not really a GUI to it or anything much to it. It's just a service. However, you can go through and actually see how easy it is to set up, where you're just adding in credential information for your ServiceNow, or for not only your SCOM, but then also your ServiceNow settings. And then you can tell it which services you would like to synchronize. So it's not much to it right now, but this is a good start to where we're going. And then, of course, we are interested in finding those that implement this and other changes they would like to see. So moving on, the next couple things we'll do is the enhanced dashboards, performance dashboards, where we're actually adding in the graphs, where we're looking up the information in your data warehouse and putting them directly on your dashboard itself, instead of actually having just the performance graphs that were below. Now you can actually see it from the main page, and it's a fast interaction directly to your data warehouse so that we can pull that information. Another new feature, something that we actually had, it's actually an old feature that we brought back. When we moved to 7.0, we kind of left this. There was a way to do this, but it wasn't as easy to find the child objects. So now what we've done is we've changed the process and made it easy to find these child objects from within a parent object when you're doing a search. So I'm actually going to show both of those at the same time. First one I want to show you is child objects. So here on the left-hand side under my components, I'm looking at in this case, the Windows servers. So if I click on the little arrow off to the side, now I can actually drop down and actually see some of the child objects that are below that. And it doesn't just work for Windows servers. So if I come into the application and I actually look, in this case, for my Active Directory domain controller computer role, I can actually look at the roles that are below that. Anything that basically rolls up into a parent object. So now it makes it easy for me to take an object and actually drag and drop it onto the dashboard instead of having to figure out what class it was for a membership rule to do a search. Just about everyone knows what computer that thing is running on, so it makes it easier to do a search on that Windows computer and then find the object that you're looking for. Now, for our performance graphs, got just a little basic page here. Up here at the top, you'll notice a little kind of new icon where I can add a performance shape. And we have a few different ones. We have a single value. So here I can come through and I again, easy to find child objects because as some of you have figured out, that not always the Windows computer object doesn't always capture the data, the performance data. Usually that's stored in something like the Windows OS. But in this case, I can go to my C drive and I can tell it, you know what, give me my free megabytes, how much free space I can do a percentage of free space in this case. And I can see the counter in the instance. You know, you can set your range. It gives you an example of what it's going to look like right off the bat, or at least what the values are. You can change the colors. If I want to, I can actually come in here and edit the actual label that it's going to show. And if I forget to do that, that's something you can do later. And then once I'm finished, it simply adds the object, and I can move it to where I would like to see it in the screen. Excuse me. So of course you can do a lot of the same things you could do with the other ones. So if I need to change the label and I want to move it to the right or to the left or anything like that, I can do that. Move it to where I want. If you forget to do something like changing the color, those are things that you can do after the fact. So let's go to our next one. If I want to create kind of a linear graph, here I can do, let's just go back into this one. We'll go to the operating system object this time. And we'll do percent memory used. Kind of gives me another graph as far as the percentage. I'm going to shorten this up so it's not such a long title. If I want to, I can change, the foreground color, change it to red or something. Let's just kind of change it a little bit just so you can see what we can do. And now I can move that to where I need to. Now, the other one we have is kind of more of a radial gauge. So in this case, I'll go to the operations manager database, and I can actually, let's just go to active connections. I'll leave that kind of alone here. Change that so it's a little bit smaller. Finish up, and then move this where you see fit, where would be best for you to see it. So now you've got a little bit of a gauge. And then, of course, the last one we have is the spark line. The spark line allows us to see kind of a historical trend. So if I do the same kind of active connections for this one, let's shrink this up just a bit again. And now I've got let's actually take this and move the label to the bottom so it's a little easier to read. So now you can actually see kind of a graphical line of things, a trending line, and of course the last value is what you have, and then you can have the indicator of whether it's going up, it's going down, this basic overall trend. One of the other nice things about this performance graphs is so far I've done this based on all of the objects that were actually on this screen. So if I wanted to, I can actually come in here and we can do a radial gauge. I can actually come in here and go into a different type. I can scroll down and go to like my Windows server, and so if I want to, I can actually look at my domain controller. Actually, I needed to, sorry about that, go into operating system, and now I can actually do something along this lines where I'm looking at percentage used of a different object or an object that's not even on the map itself. So you can see how this is nice. Now, little spread out on what I did, but I wanted to make sure I had the room to add all the different types of graphs that we can do to indicate and give you an idea of what's possible with our enhanced performance graphs. Now, one of the other things we've done is we've added enhanced membership rules. You'll notice that we have the ability now to add an expression and put an AND statement. So every time you add another expression to this list, it will turn around and create another AND, so that we can create a better rule instead of just creating a rule that brings up a bunch of objects and then you have to exclude a few items. Now you can get a better rule all in one statement. And then a quick demo of this. If I come down here and go to my membership rules, I can add, and I'll just go ahead and do Windows Server, display name, contains, and all. In the case of mine, all of mine have the word lab in it. So if I want to, I can see this, and I've added the expression. I can show my matches, and I can see the 4 servers that I have in this particular one. Well, if I want to, I can also leave this and say contains, test. And I can add that updated, I didn't want to do that. Sorry. Lab, update expression. As you can see, you can turn around if you mess up, you can update the current expression you have. So if I want to add test, I can add that expression now and then do a show matches, and now I can see that one test web server that I have in my lab. And then I can click on OK, and of course, what it does is it adds it as an unplaced member off to the side because I'm in the diagram view. So I can add this in here. So a little bit better in the way that we're doing our membership rules, so that you can now find things and finally tune your dynamic rules that you need. All right, on to the integration of our service dashboard within our dashboard by Savision product. Now what we're able to do is bring that service dashboard that you're used to seeing within the Live Maps web console. Now you can actually bring it into our dashboards by Savision. And the nice thing about this is there's no Silverlight dependency. This is all HTML5 based. You can see the status of the service right now, and you can look at the SLA information. You can see the alerts that are affected on that service. And now you can see it on your tablet, on your mobile phone, on just about anything you need to. And then a quick demo of it, just to show you. This is actually a service that I had. I'm actually going to go back to the main view. Oh, it's going to make me sign in, sorry. So here's our all service dashboard, the system dashboards that we have already. If you have a Unity key, you'll notice that this one will be lit up. If this is currently dark like this one, then you do not have a Unity key in your setup. So if I come into Service Overview, you see a very familiar looking service dashboard. From here, I can actually click on any of the dashboard or services that I would like to view. You can get the end user, application, and infrastructure views as far as what alerts are there. I can look at the actual alerts themselves, click on an alert, and actually see the details of the alert. You can come down to the service levels. Like right now I'm looking at the overall service, but I can switch this to infrastructure and see the SLA information on this view. Now what you can't do at this time, now that'll change in time, is be able to drill down and actually view the service map itself. You don't have the ability to do any kind of updates or closing out an alert, at least from this product at this time. That's something that is on the roadmap and will change in time as we continue to evolve and improve our dashboard by Savision product. So that runs through all of the new features of version 7.4. I would like to now say, hey, please enter in any questions that you have in either the QA box or in chat. It's easier for me to follow the questions in QA than it is in chat, because then I'll have to scroll through them. But if anybody has any questions, now's the time to type that in. I'll give it a little bit of time so that see if there are any questions. Haven't seen anything yet, but I'll give it a little bit more time. And while I'm waiting, I'll go ahead and share the contact information. You can see our 4 offices. I'm actually headquartered in the Dallas office. So feel free to contact me at any time. You have my email there. Oh, here comes questions. All right. Does the ServiceNow integration automatically start with some default screens and dashboards? It's only designed to do the business services themselves. It doesn't, so it's not going to sync up an individual dashboard or an individual dashboard or list view. For right now, it's only doing any kind of services that you actually create. So how real-time are the dashboard views? So what we're doing, most information we're gathering from that, performance metrics and things of that nature are all from the data warehouse. So it will be as old or as fresh as the data warehouse actually has the objects or the information. We just turned around and added the ability on the latest version of dashboards that was released on Friday, version 1.1.1.1180. Yes, there's that many ones. Just added the ability to add in a refresh rate. So unlike before, where only the computer and the service dashboard would actually refresh every 2 minutes, now we'll refresh any of our dashboards. And it's customizable. It defaults to 120 seconds, but you can change it to what you want. So while we're waiting for that, I will go ahead and go ahead and add our contact information so you guys can still add more questions. Again, my name is Chris Millay. You can email me directly if you want, chrismillay@savision.com. You can also see about seeing this information online at savision.com/test, or you can request an eval for those that don't already have live maps for savision.com/eval. Also, if you need to, you can. Another contact is our support line, which is support@savision.com. That will go into our help desk if you have any issues there. All right, I just got to ask, does or can you add the ability to right-click on a computer in a live map and be able to bring up the core metric view of the single computer in a dashboard by Savision view? Not. And I'm going to make sure I understand the question, not from live maps into dashboards, but what you can do is actually have, we'll have those core metrics in a computer object that we're looking at in dashboards by Savision, and you can actually pull up the core metrics from that location. You can also technically have those core metrics in a dashboard or a performance graph below on the live maps view. Right now, most of our focus is actually bringing information from live maps web console into dashboards, not necessarily the other way around. But it is an interesting thought and something that we may consider in the future. Can the maps be built automatically or completely manual? Are you talking about bringing in the performance metrics into a particular live map? Let's see. And also, what is required from SCOM to build the dashboards? Are there any pre-built dashboards like for Exchange? So I'll do that real quick. So whenever you get the dashboards itself, so Active Directory, Computer Health, Exchange, IIS, SharePoint, and SQL. These are already pre-built dashboards that are already in this particular environment, or anytime you load dashboards by Savision. You have to have a Unity key to get the service overview, and you also have to have Cloud Reporter in order to see the virtualization one that we've built. But you can turn around and actually click on any of these, and it'll pull up the information. Now, I only have one SQL server, so that's why there's not much information here. But this is some of the information it'll automatically show you from a perspective. If I click on an object to go into this particular SQL server, I can actually grab, and it'll actually pull some of that performance information that you probably are looking for. So we've already built some of these. You can turn around and actually create your own, add your own. This is one that I've started to build. You can actually bring, and I haven't finished this one. That's why I was reluctant to kind of show it. But you can bring live maps views, web pages into dashboards pretty easily, because most individual maps do not have a Silverlight dependency. It's really only the service dashboard and the service maps themselves that have a Service-Lite dependency. So it is possible to add into the URL. So this automatically logs on an actual particular web page. You can also add new ones and actually grab information from a heat map and say, look, this is how I want objects, for a Windows server, and I can scope it to a particular group and give it a tile and add it in here. Now, once it does, it'll just add it into a single box, but you can expand it out and shrink it to make it look a little bit better. And of course, obviously set a name. Let's see. Unfortunately, this is still a manual process. There's no automation to building out a dashboard, custom dashboards within dashboards. So, and there's not any automation of adding performance graphs onto individual dashboards either. So most of those, if you need to add performance, if you're looking to add a performance graph onto an individual map, that's still kind of a manual process. But that's at least the second time I've heard something of that request, so that may be something we look at in the future. Okay, are there any more questions? I'm going to give it just about another minute or so. That seemed to answer the ones that I've gotten so far, which I will say that there's been a few more questions this go around than I did my last one, so that's good to see. Well, I want to thank everyone for showing up. Hopefully you got a lot of good information from this as far as what we can do and what we're going to do. So let's see. If a dashboard is built manual and there is any new objects, will they be added as part part of it automatically or manually have to add them. So if you build a dashboard, an individual dashboard, and you're scoping it to like the Windows computer object, you actually scope it to a particular group. Once members become part of that group, they'll become automatically added. So that's one part of it. So it would kind of depend on how you specified your widget, whether you're scoping it to an individual object or a particular group. A lot of objects, at least for our out-of-the-box dashboards like Exchange and SharePoint and things like that, we actually target all of the objects that we see. So anything that gets added new of that particular class will be added to that dashboard. You can even, I don't have it in this environment, so it's kind of hard for me to show, but you can even change like SharePoint farms. You can actually designate which farm you want to look at, so you can see objects from one farm versus another. And anytime a new object gets added to that farm, then it'll be added to our dashboard. And the same would be true for any of the custom dashboards you built. As long as you're scoping it to a particular group, once you add a new object to that group, then that object automatically gets added to the list. Will the new objects be unassigned on live maps or visible on the diagram? I don't know that I follow what you're after. Will the new object be unassigned on live maps or visible on the diagram? Why don't I contact you after I'm done with this, and you can explain that maybe a little bit more and see if I can answer it. If you don't mind, can you give me your contact information and questions, or email me directly? Or I think I can reach out to you. I know how to get a hold of you. I'm sorry. We'll see if I can answer your question so I can get a little bit more better information than on this webinar. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone again. Enjoy your day. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for participating, and have a good day. Thank you for being a part of it.